What up, FIFA Tiers? It's B-Rad here, and welcome to another podcast episode from the FSB creators. And obviously, it wouldn't be an FSB creators without my trusty compadres, Luke and Mers. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing good, or trusty. I mean, I hear someone's been handing their CV out elsewhere.
Yeah, I have heard about this. Traitor.
Well, I wanted to move up in the world and go to a more like BBC level, like production quality.
Deep sea level? That sounds
BBC?
downwards.
You said
Well,
BBC.
well,
Pretty simple.
aren't we
Oh, I thought you said
like
down.
we're just some kind of B-Tech, like off-brand.
Whoa. That leads me on to saying thank you to everybody that is tuning in. We've had a look at the analytics recently, and actually we are really, really grateful. Sometimes you do this and you don't think your voices are actually being heard, and it turns out that at least around 60 of you are. And yeah, make sure that with that you do follow us over on our Twitters. So mine is at Brad861, Luke's is at LSturmy64, and then you've got Mers at Lord Mers. Is it at Mersgoth or at Lord Mersgoth?
At Lord Mersgoth.
At Lord Mersgoth. Go and follow us over on Twitter, because we do tweet out about these podcast episodes, because obviously we do want some input on the Q&A. So whether you go over there and tweet us some questions for the Q&A section at the end, or drop in the comments of this on the podcast any questions you want us to talk about, obviously in FIFA related, non-FIFA related, we're happy to talk about anything. Just make sure you do keep it friendly. Now, what we're talking about first of all today is basically what we followed on from the last episode, which is end of season. So obviously the end of season came, and we all got some new rewards for the end of season, and I didn't really get to play it that much, so mine weren't great, but yours were pretty good, Luke.
Yeah, just slightly didn't record it like an amateur. I did pack my first hero, and it's arguably one of the best. Antonio Di Natale.
That is
Only
a nice
probably
ball.
pretty much only trumped by by Janola in that category, but I'm not going to complain. I'll take it.
And Mers, anything to speak of much?
I wasn't an amateur and forgot to record it. I was an amateur who recorded it and didn't get it out onto the YouTube channel. As for me, I got 5 rule breaker cards, and I got 4 in a row basically from 4 different packs. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, they weren't like, I mean, to be fair, not many promo players now are worth like 6 figures for FIFA
No,
points.
you have to get the top 3, don't you, basically?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I got some nice, like Paul Kulusevski and Cornet in particular from those. I gotta say, my RTG account versus the pay to win account, the pack luck was such a stark contrast. So the best that I got was Corona rule breakers, but in the 100k packs in particular, so I had 2 on both of them, 84 and 84 on the RTG. Yeah, exactly. And that's the minimum rating as well.
Yeah,
so
it is. Yeah. That's not ideal. I only got a premium gold players pack. I'd done like 38 games, and I don't remember a player from it, so I obviously didn't get anything that much to speak of. But with the end of the season came some typical new EA style, for lack of a better no, I can't swear on the podcast really, mess ups. Let's say mess ups. So essentially they put out a tweet. I haven't got it to hand right now, but it essentially apologised, and what they were doing was reimbursing people with the things that they had lost or what had happened. So it turns out those that had qualified for champs weren't showing that they qualified for champs. They were going to give that back, and then those that didn't have their FUT champs points showing, because that all reset, they were going to give them back, and eventually it would get reimbursed. But we were talking, weren't we, on Twitter on Thursday, and I think certainly come to Thursday night they hadn't done it. I remember being in bed actually when we were talking about it, and still at that point, Mers, you said you hadn't had yours given to you yet.
I had mine given to me. I know when I think I started my stream and I had them at that point, which would be about 7:30 or something like that, or 7.
Right,
I did have it
yeah.
then, so I did do the qualifying. Basically, I did get to do it, but it took its time.
Whereas essentially myself, more than other people I've spoken to, got royally screwed. Not only did I'd already qualified and wasn't showing the qualification for champs until late Friday night, when actually I couldn't then play my games. The Thursday, when it was showing that I'd lost all the points that I had for qualification, I built up playing Div Rivals that day. That was the day that I was like not really I had a little bit of time to do some videos, but not enough time to basically grind as much Rivals as I need, because I was dropped down to Division 6 because I was only up to 4. And yeah, I ended up getting to myself about 840 points come Friday night. When I saw that the champs was there, they'd wiped it. So now I'm sitting with essentially no qualification for champs anymore and 0 out of 2,000 points towards trying to qualify again. So yeah, I'm not I'm not best pleased. Luckily for them, I'm not I'm not one that plays the game so much that it bothers me and has tilted me to the point where like I'm absolutely devastated, because I'm not one that can jump on this like 4 or 5 times a week. But it's still very, very annoying. In point of fact, I suppose I should be more annoyed because it's going to take me even longer to get qualified again. But yeah, you got yours back, Mers, and then you had your FUT Champs weekend. How did it go?
I got rank 3, so I got the team of the week pack. I got obviously the jumbo rare players pack and 2 red player picks. Red player picks were atrocious. 100k pack, I had a couple of walkouts, and I think I had 2 walkouts and then a couple of boards, so that wasn't too bad.
Okay.
And the team of the week pack was about, I think that was about 50k worth of players or something like that, or 40k's worth of players, so it could have been worse on the team of the week pack.
What about yourself, Luke? What was your experience and your FUT Champs?
I got incredibly frustrated, but I did cross some very harsh losses in there, very late losses, but we did hit rank 3. We stopped and gave away about 5 wins to people. Of course, every time I give away wins, someone else is trying to give away wins as well, which really it always seems to happen. When I'm giving away wins, someone else is trying to give me one, and it's a problem. But I did get some half decent rewards. My red picks were okay. I already run Issa Diop and Areola in net, so I got Red Zuma, which fit the team really well.
Okay.
On top of that, I got Luis Alberto. Not good in terms of pace or whatever, if you're talking meta.
Good in terms of rating.
Rating and joy. It's an obscure player that I'd probably use anyway, just to tell people they're wrong.
Yeah.
Then my 100k pack happened, and I did get a fair few walkouts. I got, I think, 4 walkouts in that pack.
Okay.
Donnarumma. Yeah, Donnarumma.
Donnarumma, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
I got Immobile. I got Ruben Dias, and I got I got Gio Reyna in the pack.
Oh.
So I did get the numbers up card. Which
Okay.
is nice.
Nice, and he does look good actually. I think he does look good. Something a bit different as well.
Right, yeah.
Not that there's a lot of American hybrids, but I suppose you could stick Dempsey in and maybe experiment with a couple of the MLS players.
Yeah, it just gets him a weak link. Sadly, it's not back in the because it's not obviously MLS. He's not going to get a strong link.
No, but
it's something.
Good way to hybrid out maybe, and then also I think if you took, was it Boo that was in the
yes,
level
it was
30
Boo. The big sad is that I didn't reach level 30 on that account, so I did not get to take someone like Boo.
That's a shame.
Which is a damn shame.
That is a shame because he looked like an alright card. I mean, I personally, as we all have known, tried to get Pedro Porro, and I tried to get it in on an episode against Luke once. Didn't happen. Finally got him in actually on another episode a little bit later on. But then obviously leading from level 30, we then did get our new level 15 and level 30 players. Now, Luke, I believe you've done a player review on one of them, haven't you?
I have indeed. The level 15 player whose name I'm a bit touchy about saying.
Okay.
The German.
Should we spell it?
Yeah, I mean we can spell it Heil. Although using him at times did feel like HELL. His work rates were awful. He's got high defensive work rate, medium attacking with 60 defending. I mean, it could get by. It's an Eredivisie card, German. It gives you vibes of. I remembered his name last time I was talking about this. It was obscure name, Kohler, something like that. Last year.
Okay.
Left similar position, same league, same nation. It was the squad building, not squad building. It was the managerial masterpiece card. But basically, that card was much better than this for starters. This card, it can finish. He's got insane finishing. It's just his weak foot lets him down. His skill moves, considering he wants to naturally play a lot deeper and a lot wider, getting him into those positions to shoot is not good.
Yeah, and just it's weird, isn't it, to have a left wing with high defensive who's then got 60 defending.
Yeah, I mean 3-star. I've made no qualms that I'm getting better at using players with 3-star skills, but a winger that wants to stay wide is not ideal with that. At least when I'm using someone like a Kostic in 3-5-2, he's getting forward because I think he's got high and arriving back post. This was not happening, and especially when he's right-footed, he needs to cut in to actually do that. So starting so far wide out, it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, and then obviously we've got Pask, the 83 placed English centre back. So plays for Coventry, so he's in the Championship, and you know, he's got a 3-star weak foot, which isn't bad for a centre back. Not many of them are 4 or 5-star, but nice looking stats: 83 pace, 80 defending, 84 physical, and also obviously with building some sort of like nice English player hybrids with the Oxford objective player as well. Sort of gives you some interesting like English hybrids, and certainly I think people for objectives and things may well potentially take him more than anybody else, especially given that weirdly, and I say weirdly because I think it's a little bit weird, the other one was a goalie.
Yes, Pedro Teixeira here. I'm looking at him, and I'm fairly certain he is the highest rated Liga NOS goalkeeper. So
yeah, he will be now, won't he? Because Marquezan was 81. Yeah,
as was the other two. I think it was Pedro.
Vlachodimos
was 79.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting that they put a goalie in. I mean, personally, I don't. When I say I don't see anyone choosing him, I'm realising there may well be some Portuguese players of the game or people that just generally like support the Liga NOS or like maybe even support his team that may well take him. But generally, let's just face, out of us three, surely neither of us are taking this guy, right?
No, because I feel like if you imagine it as a normal card and you're looking it up on the market, I think you generally pass it anyway. I mean, yeah, it's not too bad statted wise versus the other goalkeepers, but yeah.
Well, the thing is for us though, it's a bit different, is it? Because when it comes to series, like when we're doing a series together, whatever, if we had this card on the market and we're putting in like a different, like something just different at the back, maybe like a Pepe on one side, and you want that strong link, we may well use this if this was an inform. But
yeah, absolutely.
In terms of taking it for that reason, you're not going to.
Yeah,
but here's the other interesting side of this guy. He also, not just, you talk about strong links there, he's Portuguese. So it actually opens up more. There's no actual high-rated Portuguese goalkeeper in the Portuguese league. They're Brazilian.
Yes, or Argentinian. Or Greek.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's an actual, more natural one in that sense. So for people that are doing squad building series, he might be someone you go, how often am I going to dip into the Championship? There's better Eredivisie options in even Tadic,
and maybe even people as well that are running a few accounts. Like, you know, they might want to pick one on each, just to give them a bit more variety, I suppose, as content creators. I could see that being a thing, but you know, that's for people that aren't like us that get to actually do that full time. And then we go on to the level 30 players. So we've got Grant, striker from West Brom. We've got Lincoln, who is a cam, Brazilian from, again, the Liga NOS. And Marco van Ginkel, former Chelsea player, now PSV. Looks, I mean, if I'm choosing out of these, I'm probably going, I don't know, against I was going to say Van Ginkel before I then looked and thought it's another English player that I kind of like the look of his stats.
Well, I mean, I default him going Van Ginkel. He's got the most in-game stats of a non-icon card. Simply put, you put him up against Goretzka, the informed Goretzka even. That card's got more face stats, but in-game Van Ginkel's about 50 stats clear, I think. Something like that. It's one of the most complete cards at the moment. all people go is, oh, it's Eredivisie. Oh, it's less than 80 pace. Oh.
Now with these, will you be trying to sort of get these on both accounts as well?
Yeah, no, I'd probably look to get Van Ginkel on both accounts. He's
what about you, Mers, on these three cards?
It's a difficult one because I do like the look of Grant as well. I think it's a very nice looking card, and looking at the passing stats, like you could potentially play that centre forward as well. So like again in squad building series and stuff, if you are going with English players, Championship players, then that offers that bit more flexibility again. But Ginkel does that as well, so it is a tough one. I don't know. I think when I get there, I'll make the decision. But at the moment, I just can't make up my mind which of the two I'd rather go for.
I mean, the same logic though, would you not think Lincoln would be the best option for you then if you're going, oh, what if I hybridize into this league? How about an actual top 5 league and one of the best nations in the game? Surely that's more appealing than some English guy that you're going to use once in a while. How many times can you build a full Brazil team? Fairly
well, it's not even that as well, isn't it? It's like if you're looking like English and then trying to strong link it, icon wise, there aren't any good ones, are there? Like
Rio Ferdinand.
Oh, I mean to link to Grant as a striker.
Base Beckham.
There's some reason. I mean, you've got obviously a Rooney card now. Is it the mid one that I think?
Rooney, I suppose Rooney is an exception.
Yeah.
I know the Beckham SBC has now come out, and some people might want to do that for some nostalgia, but I don't think he looks that great.
I mean, that's the mid, bear in mind as well.
But
not the base.
Another English icon that I actually like is John Barnes, so I would happily use the John Barnes. So there is that ability.
In game, you like him or?
Yeah, I like it. Like, well, I haven't used him this year, but like last year, I thoroughly enjoyed John Barnes. And to be fair, there's not much difference between gameplay this year and last year, except for the fact that you can't really necessarily spam skill moves or something like that.
I actually have a theory on this. I have a theory on this that it's because Mers secretly likes rap, or not so secretly, and actually aspires, much like John Barnes did, to have his own rap career. And this is why he's trying to branch out into higher levels of content creation and things to platform himself. So MC
Mersgoth star.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's happening. It's happening.
Catch him if you can. He is the Spanish man.
Exactly.
And then I suppose so on the level after level 30, then and talking about the changes in seasons, the only other thing really to touch on was obviously it's gone back up to 2,000 qualification points, which I forgot to mention in my rant of disgust at the fact that I now don't even have my 800 anymore, which obviously is what it was originally, but some people might feel aggrieved that they just had to get 1,500 before, and then what EA go and do is drop everyone 2 divisions and then say you've got to play more. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
I mean, my counterpoint to that is if you finish rank 3 in champs, which I think a fair few people are these days.
Yeah.
That will get you 1,500, and then all you do is then play your rivals wins in the week to get your rivals rewards.
Yes.
And you've got enough points already. That's even if you're in something like Div 5-4, you probably get that, maybe even lower 6.
Yeah, you should do, and it's also provided like you're a good enough player to qualify every time for champs, I suppose.
Yeah, and at that point, like if you're not qualifying for champs based on that, which is a task in itself, let's not take away from that. I still believe that qualifying for champs is not
it's goal 3, isn't
right.
it?
It's not a given right. It's something you have to earn. It's something you strive towards. I know certain people in the community haven't yet qualified for champs and are trying to, and once they do, great news. That's an accomplishment for them. That's
definitely.
a thing. Yeah. That's a ceiling they'd have broke beyond.
Yeah.
So
wow.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
Don't forget the triangle button though, coming in the way of some qualification, hey, Luke.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I still qualified that. Hey, no, actually, no. Let's counteract this. No, screw that noise. I ended up getting my best ever finish that weekend. So I didn't go through on one account. Laugh all you like. On the RTG, I got rank 2. So who's laughing at it now?
Fair play.
Did you get good rewards though in that goal, that rank too?
Oh,
I
come
got
on,
okay
mate.
rewards. I got decent enough rewards. Yeah, I got Mason Mounts as an inform.
We can't talk about rewards anyway. I mean, most elite players, and my brother will love that I'm mentioning this if he manages to listen. Most elite players don't get good rewards, so it's not about that. It's about the achievement at the end of the day, because rewards we have no control over. If they ever did a minimum rating on red picks or anything, which will never ever happen, especially as this might even be the last time we see, certainly FIFA in the way that it's been in the past. Then yeah, they're never going to put a minimum 84 rating on your 5 FUT chance picks to guarantee you the top 5 players or whatever. So yeah, it's just never happened.
So we've recently had a update from EA with, well, I say an update. They haven't updated the gameplay. Everyone wants some changes to the gameplay, but they've only made. It's not a priority to them. They wanted to break the goalkeepers. They've broken the goalkeepers, and then they're thinking everything is hunky-dory now by looks of things. They're just changing a few cosmetic things. There's not really anything to properly touch about. I think they did a little tweak again to the goalkeepers, but apparently that doesn't actually affect the actual gameplay itself. It's stated that anyway on the patch notes. I could personally want them to make a change to the gameplay. I want them to change the interceptions in particular. Every time I go to intercept the ball, it likes bouncing the fucking ball back to the opposition player. That is probably my biggest grieve right now when it comes to gameplay. I don't know whether you guys agree or disagree, or what you want to mainly see change with the update, or hopefully see in an update coming up soon. But
player switching is the biggest one for me.
Player switching was a nightmare this weekend for me.
The absolute biggest one. I've never not been able to select the right when I say the right centre back, I don't mean in terms of the right centre back. I mean the correct centre back. Yes, in my team ever, even despite the fact that the triangle is above his head as well. That has happened. So it doesn't matter whether you use right stick. It doesn't matter whether you use your left bumper or whatever. It just never wants to go to that player until it's too late. And then I think, well, okay.
There is the new mechanic. There is the new mechanic of, I think, pushing in the right stick that then it will tell you to flick in a certain direction to pick a certain player. So you can do that in the heat of the moment. That's really good under pressure. Waiting for a push-in prompt and then flicking to certain people. That's a last resort. If I'm using that, that means I have failed about 2-3 times and panicking.
Yeah. And now I've created like a player going off on a run that he didn't need to go on, because in that time I just spammed so many buttons that it's just what happened.
To be fair, if you use that new mechanic, you probably end up switching to your striker anyway, even though you're pointing towards the centre backs.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, probably.
No, it tells you specifically who it wants you to go to. It's fairly self-explanatory. Just don't panic and flick the wrong one.
And then that's basically going. We don't need to go into depth with the updates. That's it. But we've had pretty much.
That was about as in depth as EA went.
Yeah, so. Exactly. We've had probably the second worst promo begin on Friday. Very monetary.
I'm just curious what you're saying is. What was the first?
That was the other November promo. Basically. Seems to be a bad month for it.
FIFA 17 Movember, where they only increased the physical stats by 5. So this is the second worst in my opinion, where it's just basically
that was that bad.
Yeah.
The biggest money grab possible by EA, just getting some money off of Adidas basically to post it on their game so that maybe Adidas can sell some fucking football boots or something like that.
Well, and so that EA can sell some FIFA points,
and
EA gets paid for this as well.
Exactly. So it's also money from the people that play the game, and then money from fucking Adidas itself as well. Don't worry, guys. We'll probably see a Nike promo in February or something like that. I
mean, it just goes back to what I said a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? When we were talking about the potential of like rule breakers or a Scream type promo potentially coming, and I said, well, it makes me feel like to me that the way they are currently ending promos on a Wednesday and then do another one on a Friday, and given the fact of the state of what is going to happen to FIFA at the end of this one, that they're going to have to try and find a new game or try and rebrand Ultimate Team or something, that I didn't think they were going to take many breaks this year so that they could capitalise as much as possible on money. And here we go. This looks like the most random, made-up promo I've ever seen in my life. But hey, it made some money for them, I'm sure.
It seems like Ultimate screamed that 1 year, except the stats are not changing multiple stats. It's just staying as you're changing on pace, you're changing on this. It's more organised. I would love to see what happens if someone switches boots mid-year. Please, can Matt Hummels grab the pace boots?
Well, this is. Do you know what I said though? Right before this team, when I saw the promo and you guys said about, oh, it looks like they're going to get this and they're going to get that. I didn't realise like it was going to be so tied to the boot they're actually wearing at first.
Oh yeah.
So I straight away was like, oh my god! Imagine if actually, with defending being so important this year, they actually give Matt Hummels like 80-something pace. He'd be so good on the game.
I would be all over that card. I even used his base card for like a week or two at the start of this FIFA.
Yeah, because like at that time, like pace wasn't so bad because obviously there weren't as many players with that higher pace, but also defending was really, really important. That defending as a stat on the card was so important. And if there's one player that you would want to have had the pace boots, it would have been him. Whether we can get a message to Matt and tell him to change his boots just for the fact of an EA FIFA promo and see what he says.
I guarantee you about 95% of his ats at the moment are telling him to swap boots.
Without a doubt. They must
and it won't matter. I'm sure EA will go, oh, he swapped boots. Oh, sorry, the promo was so last week. It doesn't update till December. Yeah. Oh, he's changed back. Oh, what a shame.
Yes, and then the cards finally reaching their potential in the end of April.
Yes, that's the biggest pointless thing. That I think I said to people, it realistically been the first upgrade, fine, end of December, but I think the final upgrade should have been February, end of February or something like that.
February still gets some sort of memeable cards. Like that's sort of when Shapeshifters traditionally was. Something like that. Just maybe around that sort of time period. Winter Refresh, obviously, when that existed. You can still get some more interesting cards. It's like when the Champions League cards upgrade, the Road to the Finals from previous years. You go, oh, this looks like a great card, and then you have to hold on to it for about 6 months, and you're like, oh, these, oh,
yeah.
I forgot about you, Mason Mount.
Because if you focus on the mainly usable players in particular here, so let's go with maybe Jota in particular. So at the end of next month, he'll have 96 pace and then +1 on all the other stats. So that'll be 90 dribbling, 86 shooting, 79 passing. Don't really mind too much about the physical and defending. But instead, at the end of April, it means he's going to have that 99 pace, but then only 1+ on all those other stats as well, which isn't really that great in April because we're going to have so many promos, especially if EA are continuing at the rate that they're doing with the promo. So we'll end up having
there'd have been 25 promos by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, that's not strictly true. Not 25. Remember, they're doing them 2 weeks, not 1 week.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Although it doesn't say there's a team 2.
It doesn't.
This one doesn't actually say there's a team 2.
But everything it'll be Nike next week. It's fine. Everything else though is 2 weeks. So I was originally going to make a joke about they're going to come up with 52 promos. But really, it's going to be 26. Like most, if they decide to go for, if they do every week, that's going to be an absolute insanity.
Well, maybe actually just what is going to happen with them, because they've obviously are going to lose the rights, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a FIFA 23, or certainly as it is called FIFA 23. Maybe this is just going to run on now forever. We're just going to get promos and promos on FIFA 22, and they're going to try and see how far they can stretch us out. It's year 2122, and it's FIFA 22 is still doing promos. Just to update, as I want to jump in as well, we're 6-0 up at half time.
Brilliant.
Harry Kane scored 4 goals.
Against the Farmers team.
They're not just farmers, they're plumbers.
Yes, sorry, when I say we, I meant me and Luke.
Policeman. Oh, yeah, true, you're... Yeah. How did Spain get on recently?
They drew last night, didn't they?
Oh, that's poor, man. I'll disown them.
Oh no,
No, they won 1-0.
they won
in
1-0.
Sweden.
1-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweden
Against
and Belgium.
Sweden.
Oh yeah, but Sweden beat them the game before, didn't they? Yeah, Morata in the 86th minute, so it took you a while, but yeah, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, talking of, actually, he is in this new promo as a flashback card.
Well, very
Which
good
I've
segue.
heard. It is a very good segue, thank you. I've been working on them. But it looks like a decent enough card. Like, I've heard good reviews from certain members of the community, mainly Roman, who's pestering me to get this done. But yeah, 90 pay. I mean, obviously, 3-star, 4-star. I can live with that. That's fine. 6'3", medium. It's basically he sort of looks like Grant.
Let me go and have a look. So this is flashback Morata, yeah.
Flashback Morata for when he used Adidas. Here's the exact reason.
Oh
Flashback Morata celebrating his great performance at Real Madrid in the Adidas X16/X17 during the 16-17 season.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
What a flashback.
Oh my god, I can't believe I was actually going to joke about it being about his boots, and it actually
it is.
it's about
it says it's actually his boots, yeah. No. But that's absolutely why I've done it.
X's 16 to 17 seasons.
Oh
Wow.
my god. What's the next flashback going to
Wow.
be in this promo or moments?
Who is a random Adidas person who's not been relevant in a while?
Has anyone signed from Nike to Adidas? Is it going to be a moment from when he signed the contract?
The moment the pen hit the paper.
Oh my god.
This is to celebrate the moment ink went to paper. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, you're right though. Like, generally as a card, it does look very good, very good. Agility and balance is a bit low, but obviously he is 6'3", is he? Yeah,
he is. Yeah,
6'3". So I'd expect that from him. But head and accuracy 97 with jumping of 89. Yeah, you wouldn't mind pinging some balls in the box for him, would you?
No, you would not. That is quite a lethal card at this point. I mean, I'd say he doesn't need any more pace, so I wouldn't slap a hunter on him. I'd probably slap a finisher on him, get the dribbling up a little bit more, and a bit more on shooting because, you know, why not? It can help. Maybe even an artist, depending on how flamboyant I'm feeling. If I think 85 shooting's enough, solid. Get the passing up a little bit.
Passing needs to be improved for all strikers anyway. Apparently they seem to they've just decided that all forwards can't pass a ball.
I think just replace. Don't just say forwards. Just passing needs improving.
Yeah.
That might be the more blanket statement.
Although
we know that's not going to happen.
Nope.
Tonight's
SBCs that have come out.
Yes.
We have got 3 82 plus guaranteed packs. But wait, of course, it's not rating, it's specific stats. We've got the 82 plus passing, the
This is
82 plus
unreal, by the way.
dribbling,
This is
and
unreal.
the 82 plus pace. Now, I've got personal opinion on these. I don't know about you guys. I think the pace one is the one that technically you could get the best stuff from, but it also opens you up to a whole can of mediocrity. You can end up getting, I think, about 100 players 75 to 80 rated from the pace one. Meanwhile, in the passing one, which is more expensive, 6 rares compared to 4, you can only get 2 75 to 80 rated players.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously dribbling being the cheapest and actually still gives you those high pace players. I think it gives you about probably 50 odd. So it's still good. It still gives you the opportunity to get the likes of Mbappe. It's the only one that gives you a chance at Kante, funnily enough, actually.
The only thing I would say about this is it does seem like it's an upgrade SBC that's aimed at packing a usable player rather than fodder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you still can get fodder from it.
You can still get fodder from it, don't get me wrong. But
you got an Ilicic from
I did, yeah. I did the dribbling one and got Ilicic. Yeah, I'm not saying no, but when people generally go through the player picks, anyone's happy to get the Tony Kroos or the goalkeepers that give them fodder for SBCs, whereas this certainly does seem like it's more aimed at this is so that you can get that Mbappe or you can get that Messi or someone like that, isn't it? It's not quite
slightly.
I don't think it's it's a little bit more tailored. However, I find it bizarre.
Yeah,
it is slightly bizarre, but this is the time that they would release it because this isn't all about Adidas. Oh no. It's about improving a specific stat. Specifically,
Yeah, I know.
pace, dribbling, or passing. Oh my god, we found the missing link, guys. We found the missing link. And talking of missing links, Portugal missed a couple links the other day, didn't they, against Serbia?
That's a great segue, by the way.
That is another great. I told you I've been working on these, mate. I've been working on these. They're smooth. So yeah,
yes,
that was
Yep.
not a good result for them. They're now under threat of not even making the World Cup. So Ronaldo must be really pleased with his life at the moment. He might be going to Europa League football and not a World Cup.
No.
So he's absolutely loving life. Any takeaways on?
If there's any point at the moment now where you thought you made the wrong decision turning down Man City, it would be now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the perfect link to Bernardo Silva is better than Bruno at the moment. Take that. So looking at some of the games that have happened, obviously 2-1. Mitrovic of all people as well, a man who comes under a lot of criticism for being a championship level striker, has gone and put one of the all-time great strikers in the bin.
Yeah.
As we said, Spain beat Sweden. Some other games, Macedonia beating Iceland, who got a red card. That will lead on to the team of the week in a minute, as there is a prediction. There's a prediction based off that game. So there's some other interesting results here. Germany battering Armenia. I mean, that's to be expected. But it was a 4-1 win. Who got the goals in that? Gundogan got.
Yeah, Gundogan got 2 and an assist or something, did he?
He
or
got
1 and an
2.
assist?
I can see. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He got a penalty and he got a goal with Muller assist.
Okay. Did he get? He didn't get an assist in the game.
From what I can see, it didn't credit him one on the source I have at the moment. Moving on to the results on Saturday, France absolutely battered Kazakhstan. So, I mean, there's a certain man who's heavily
Borat's not getting an upgrade.
No, he's not. Sadly not. Belgium beat Estonia 3-1, and then who's this down here? Wales winning 5-1 as well is a major result, and then obviously the England result from the other day, which went very nicely for ourselves, 5-0.
Which we're now already trumping in half time of this one as well. So I mean predictions on this finishing 6-0, given the fact that we seem to not be able to score in the second half.
I would give you odds of probably 25-1.
Yeah,
that's probably very generous.
That is very generous.
That's incredibly generous. Like
I think it's more like probably 1-12.
What, for it to stay the same?
Yes, I don't. No. For there to be another goal.
Oh, yeah, about to say. I was talking about for it to stay the same.
Oh right, okay, yeah. I don't think you get. I don't think you get 12p for your quid if you were trying to bet that there'd be another goal.
Yeah, I doubt it. Scotland won as a nice little one over Moldova.
And they're winning against Denmark right now as well.
That's a big one. That is a decent one. They've beaten semi-finalists as well.
Yeah. That
would mean that they've beaten. No, not beaten. Sorry, they claim their draw against England's basically a win in the fans of Scotland's eyes. They've got results against both of that semi-final.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Hungary won 4-0 against San Marino, and it looks like possibly there's some informs from there as well. Which
also winning right now as well against Poland.
There you go. I've got some predictions though from this team of the week. I'm taking this one from FUTBin. It's not always the source we use. But yeah, FUTBin is predicting the following players do get informs. The main three being Lewandowski, Mbappe and Kane, which would be a very, very nice front three.
It certainly will make the Black Friday Ultimate Team of the Week very interesting.
It would give a couple more players some boost for that. Also on top of that, there's Marco Reus making an entry, which, I mean, say Gundogan, I guess, must not be eligible considering how he got rule breakers last week, but you'd have thought he'd have been in there instead. Paqueta, Brady for North Macedonia getting one. That's a heavily linked card. But then there's also Mail in there, the man who got the road to the knockouts left wing back. He's got a left wing back card in this. Emi Martinez, Jose Gaya, Ben Davies got a centre back card, which, I mean, as a Spurs fan, I'd like to see him as far away from firstly Spurs, but also centre back as possible. Ismail Assar as well. There's some okay cards in here.
I think he got 2 goals in a 2-0 win. So I think that'll be quite likely. Yeah.
It'd be a second inform as well, which would be very tidy. There's not many other cards after that would be particularly notable. There's Sabazalai, which would be Leipzig's first left mid card of the year. Hallelujah. Ben Rama and Yilmaz.
And you're a fan of him, aren't you, as well?
I am, yeah. I do like the Hungarians, and also like a strong link to Andre Silva. So I'm not going to complain with either of those parts. Barak Yilmaz as well. I mean, it's a okay paced striker. Tall. Could be somewhat usable in certain teams depending on who you ask.
Yep.
And then historically, there's just a Benteke in there just for why not. Any thoughts on any of those players? Anyone stand out that you'd be interested in?
The Kane, Mbappe, Lewandowski. You'd take any, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Any realistic ones that you'd be interested in? The left. What position was Mail was right back? So you'd have. It's looking like you get a position change to left back, which would be nice. So you'd have an option to play him either side.
But then it doesn't really matter because he hasn't got any decent Atalanta. Sorry, what are they called? Belgamot Calcio or something.
Yeah.
And he hasn't got any really brilliant Danish links at the moment. It would be nice if Delaney got an inform because that card looks good. And obviously he's got his one to watch.
He should get his upgrade on one to watch. He's 1 game away, I believe.
Yeah,
so he will get that imminently.
I'd be looking forward to that because I have got that untradeable in my club.
And I'm just going to pretend you didn't. I mean, you can just absolutely link players at centre mid who are strikers. So I definitely am hurt by the lack of Colombian mention there of Muriel and
Zapata. Yeah,
I can't believe you've done this.
What about you, Mez?
Yeah, anyone shout for you?
I know you haven't mentioned it because it was not on your prediction that you had on screen, but I just got to mention it again. Weston McKennie, and the fact that a few predictions have got him as the featured team of the week, and the face stats: 87 pace, 83 dribbling, 83 defending, 89 physical, 81 passing, 79 shooting. If he does get a team of the week, that's going to look like an incredible card, especially if you're running a Serie A team, or you could just use him as a super sub because that's an all-rounded card, basically.
Or you play him with Gio Reyna and Dempsey, as mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I mean, what about other American players, to complete the full American squad?
Okay, all right, on the left, you can play Informed Dest. Go on, Em. There's another one for you.
Left back, yeah.
Yeah.
What about right back?
What about right back? Don't need. Okay, we getting me to look up actual American. Okay,
you can't say I've got to get one in every single spot. I mean, you got Ronaldo, and you can't necessarily think of everyone in every single spot that is a brilliant player to link him to. So yeah, I don't think we have to provide
you could fit
everywhere.
in a Pulisic at left wing. You got Brooks at centre back. Let me just look for a right back. We're going to get desperate. We're in the Silvers. Still in the DeAndre Yedlin, 73 rated, 93 pace. If you care about pace.
Yeah, and Turkish league now as well.
Turkish league link.
Blake's American, or is it? No, Blake's Jamaican.
He's
Jamaican in the MLS.
Who's the American goalkeeper?
Hamid, who's 74 rated now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Turner, who's 75 non-rare. There's a 75 non-rare one.
Is Apara still knocking around?
Probably.
Have a look.
Probably still
playing. You got a downgrade in rating? Let me have a look.
Probably.
Hang on.
Probably got a downgrade, but surely his pace is still crazy.
He's gonna have good pace, yeah.
He is not in the game anymore, I don't think.
Wow.
Apara.
Unless
he's not in the game. He went. He went. He's happy with his Rule Breakers card last year and just went.
Peaked.
Yeah. He's gone off to some other league instead then, where that's not in the game, unfortunately. So no Apara then.
Let's find out where Apara went. Hang on, let's just go on this tangent.
we got to get all the information.
We need to know now. We need to know.
So this is the start of the Q&A, and we're asking our own question to ourselves: where has Apara gone?
To be fair, this week I've got a question that I have to ask. It's my question,
okay.
but I have to ask it because it's something to do with work, basically. Like, it's a funny story that's happened
Minnesota
at
might
work,
got relegated,
basically.
you know?
So,
I think Minnesota got relegated.
Oh right, so essentially
okay, so
he's in the lower American league.
basically,
And that's not on the game.
B-tier.
I'm not seeing anything unless they.
I didn't think they had relegation though.
Neither did I.
It's a weird thing.
Oh, they
isn't
bought
it?
out his contract. They bought out his contract. There we go. Read it. They bought out his contract in
They
August.
didn't enjoy him. They didn't enjoy him.
They did not like his pace.
Yeah, they questioned his pace after seeing that he had whatever it was, 88 pace card, and they didn't think it lived up to his real life stats. Yeah, I had him for quite a while. Kept trying to hybrid him in, and it was my actual. It was definitely to my detriment more than it was to my help.
Right. So Q&A time. I'm going to start off with this question. So basically, somebody at work, as a funny side, had a dream about another co-worker. And I was like, that's a bit strange. That's a bit weird. Dreaming about a co-worker. So basically, the story is that he was on top of Gloucester Cathedral. That's the city that we live in. And he was with this co-worker with an inflatable high-vis going. Basically, he was dreaming about him holding this inflatable, and it was really windy, and the co-worker went flying off holding onto this inflatable, and he woke up suddenly giggling. But also another time he dreamt about this same co-worker, but the co-worker's mum came to the workplace and picked him up, took him back to their place, but it was in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. So then they went to like some weird safety shelter, and then apparently like the dream just basically ended there. But I was just a bit like, A, dreaming about a co-worker, and then B, dreaming about a co-worker's mum. And bearing in mind, the co-worker wasn't even in that dream. It was just the co-worker's mum. Now, do you think it's a bit weird having dreams about a co-worker?
I'm just going to interject here anyway. You are still listening to what is a FIFA podcast.
Related podcast.
If anyone's tuned in and just accidentally scrolled to this section of it, I promise you there's other FIFA related content. Scroll back. Yes, it is weird, but then also dreams are subliminal, so you have no control. So while it might be weird, it's not wrong in a way, I suppose, because you don't really get to decide what happens.
I just wrote down this as a cry for help on the whiteboard, but it's
From
it's a bit odd. Well, I don't know. We'll see. It seemed like a lot of backstory for a. It could have just been, here's my question to you guys: is it weird if you dream about a co-worker or someone in an obscure manner?
See, the thing is, I think I've got to say, like, speaking from my experience,
full backstory.
Speaking of my experience for like the last 7 years, like I've worked 12-hour shifts, so I probably spent more time with work people than I have my own family and things at some point. So no, I don't think that's strange. But you're talking about a context that's very, very strange. So yeah, I think
I had to add context. I think
not necessarily the people that are involved, but the scenarios very strange. Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely.
The scenario is what makes it weird, not the fact that they're thinking about a co-worker.
Yes.
In any shape or form, because that will sometimes happen.
Yeah.
But going into the more serious questions. So this week we don't have any non-FIFA related questions. We got one football.
People are too scared.
People too scared after the Pizzagate. Two football basically related questions.
Hey, we had some appreciation for Pizzagate.
Yeah, exactly. Today we've had a tweet saying that they enjoyed the pizza talk that we had.
Yeah, was
basically.
that Craig? Was it Craig?
The guy's name was Craig over on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comment, by the way. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're listening to this episode as well. Shout out to you. So the first question is going to be, let's do the England one first, I think.
Okay.
So Emil Smith-Rowe got his first call up to England. Now
Right.
he's been having quite a good season. He's scored in I think it's 3 consecutive games for Arsenal. Might be 4, yeah. Some of those being crucial winners as well. So that's why he's got his first call up. Now the problem is England have got quite a few good like attacking players. Now Emile Smith-Rowe mainly plays on the left. Do you think he should maybe get that starting berth long term, or do you think somebody like Sterling or trying to think who else plays on, because I'm not really the England fan, so you guys will probably be able to fill it in.
Yeah, so let's first of all start off with the fact that Sterling isn't getting regular football anywhere. So in terms of him starting, I don't think it should be happening. The person that should be starting at the moment needs to be Jack Grealish, because he's the one who's taken Sterling's place, essentially. So if you're playing anyone at left side, it's got to be him. So then your conversation should really be, is it Jack Grealish over Smith-Rowe?
That's
given
the name.
So in that sense, I think, well, I often like to go with the informed player, but actually, just in watching them both, I feel like Grealish offers us so much for England, because he draws. Look, I mean, wasn't he like the most fouled player in the Premier League?
Correct.
For last season, so like, you know, he draws us a lot of fouls. We are really good from set pieces. I mean, you know, we've got a lot of people, namely who scored again tonight, Mr. Slabhead, who can get on the end of balls and score us goals, which is a good job because they can't defend to save their life. But I think in that sense, as much as I would like to go for the guy in form, there's always that thing of like, yeah, but this person offers us just that little bit more in the game, not just on that side. So I think it's not just about a player on the left hand side, it's about the whole game when it comes to that. But chuff for the guy, and I think he will definitely be a starter in future games to come. They might need to just reevaluate, maybe not necessarily where he's going to play, but on how they're going to use, when they've got just a Grealish and Smith-Rowe, how they're going to use them, really. Maybe we switch Grealish to the other side, then you play Foden at cam. You know, it's that's more likely something that could happen, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think Sterling at the moment should be getting football until he finds himself a club where he's going to get regular football, and then we'll see whether he's as good as he was maybe 2 or 3 years ago for Man City, or whether he's going to fade because he's not got the rest of that team behind him.
So I am going to disagree almost on every single point Brad just made. Firstly, I think Grealish should not be near that team at the moment. His form at Man City is woeful. The man has had about 2 games. The Leipzig game is good. He scored a tap in against one of, I think, Norwich. Like, can you name something else he's done productive this season?
Not really.
Oh no, I don't mean in terms of like on a score sheet. I just, when I watch a game, he like running and taking on players is what I like about him, and drawing, like I say, drawing fouls, getting decisions and things. That is what I like about his play. Yes, obviously we would like him to score more goals or get more assists and things. I know he had some quite influential goal and assists in when was it, in the Euros, but yeah,
I mean, in the Euros, people wanted him to play, but I wouldn't even have said he was that influential there. Like, I can't think of many things he did. Sterling was the one that was effective at the Euros.
Yes, and he was brilliant.
Yes.
He was brilliant.
I can't think of anything that Grealish particularly did. Did he assist the Kane goal against Germany? Maybe.
Yes, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think that he did. Like, he's not. I don't think there's enough. Firstly, either historically at international level or at Man City at the moment to say that he should be playing. Smith-Rowe's the man in form.
Yeah.
He will have the work rate, the hunger, the drive to run at people and get fouls. Because I believe he gets fouled a lot at Arsenal as well. He will run at people and force the foul instead of sort of going at people and then getting tripped up. He will pretty much run into people levels of drive at someone. But he will be aggressive. It'll be a good thing for England. But also I'd say Sterling, based off his international form, he didn't play much for like last season he wasn't particularly good for City, but he was great for England. It seems like he's a different animal when playing for England. So I don't think Grealish should be in the debate. It should be purely a Sterling versus Smith-Rowe at this point. And obviously, based off form, I say give Smith-Rowe the chances. See how, obviously rotate between the two, but see which one works more in Gareth's system. And if Smith-Rowe's the one that's performing better in the system, absolutely give it to him. I'm not going to hold any bias over being a Spurs fan here. Like, absolutely, free reign, go for it. If he's a man in form and he's the one that's performing in the system, go for it.
I also think Smith-Rowe can offer that physicality as well that Grealish and Sterling doesn't necessarily be able to bring to the table, because I don't know how tall Grealish is. I know he's not small, but obviously Sterling's quite small. But both of them can sort of like get pushed over a little bit quite easily, whereas I think Smith-Rowe can more try and stay on his feet in certain situations. Which I think
it's by design with Grealish. It's not like he's not strong. I think he's trying to draw fouls. He's trying to draw dead ball scenarios.
But then I think
Jack Grealish is 5'11", by the way.
I think, yeah, but the problem is also I think Grealish can go down to the ground quite easily. Same with like Sterling, which you're not always going to get a foul called though. Just because you're going to try and get like fouls and fouls of fouls in the hope of maybe getting that set piece that could lead to a goal. Surely you want someone to actually try to stay on the feet, because sometimes that can catch defenders off guard by staying on your feet and actually then trying to go for pass the ball or go for goal yourself or something like that, which I think maybe Smith-Rowe could offer something a little bit more different in tactics as well, maybe is like an impact. Maybe if you don't necessarily start Smith-Rowe, he could be potentially like a good impact sub maybe.
I think we're in a stage, or we're at a point at the moment where we are quite reliant on set pieces and stuff at the moment, just because, I mean, let's ignore the fact that we're playing Albania and San Marino, who we're now 8-0 up against, and they've also had a red card. That, you know, one, Kane does drop deep, as he does for Tottenham, or had been for Tottenham, quite a bit, but also... We have scored quite a lot of goals from sort of our centre-backs getting on the end of set pieces. So we have relied on it a little bit, and that could come from the fact that, yeah, we haven't got what I would say probably a standout striker at the moment. And it seems like we're not, or I say we're not, I mean Gareth Southgate isn't too set on trying to see if there is somebody else that can do it, because... we're not really... I mean, I suppose DCL would have probably have been the closest that we would have had when he was in form to have actually pushing his way into the squad, and then he's gone and got injured. And in that sense now, obviously, we're now just looking at what Bamford, Tammy Abraham, and none of them are really getting like the opportunity that Kane is going to always get, despite the fact that not so many weeks ago we were talking about maybe he should even be dropped at Spurs.
I still stand by it.
And this is the thing, like, so if at club level, like, they can't rely on him to score goals, we're still sticking by him in England, and unfortunately against, again, a San Marino or Albania, where he's getting what I think is probably now, let's just have a look and see how many of these goals he's got now.
It was four. It was 4 and 4, isn't it? So
it's talking about Smith-Rowe. He scored.
Oh.
Right. So Kane went off for Reece James, but that's because Tammy Abraham came on for Foden. Jude Bellingham has scored the other goal. So like no one, especially in this sort of game. Like, I'm not saying don't start Harry Kane in this, but until we actually find out if there's anyone else to compete for him, we are very reliant on set pieces at the moment. So in that sense, we do need those decisions. And I'm not saying Smith-Rowe isn't going to get them, but Grealish gets them more, just based on the fact that, yes, he goes down more, yes, he gets challenged more, Tyrone Mings has scored, and, you know, yeah, we're 9-0 up.
I mean, I still think that just based off a man going down and having, at the moment, no end product is wasteful, when other people can still go down and actually produce something down that side. Because I think the Leipzig game's the only good thing that Jack Grealish has done since last season, and I'll stand by that.
Yeah, I think there's...
And it's probably still more than Sterling because he hasn't been on the pitch.
And the arguments about Smith Rowe, so that's even better.
Yeah,
exactly. I think we could go on for days about it, but at the end of the day, it's Southgate that makes these decisions. So, and he probably will go with Grealish or maybe Sterling or something like that. I don't think Smith Rowe realistically will start.
Well, and let's face it as well. It's not just that. If we went off say we went off a like team of the week style in-form England squad, Harry Maguire wouldn't be in there right now.
Oh, like, yeah, based off of Man United performances.
Based off of Man United performances, we wouldn't have that.
Yeah.
So it's never is it just as simple as, oh, let's play the guy in form. Like, you know, it's playing teammates together. It's playing people that have performed well in an England shirt and stuff and that. There are other factors and things, but definitely I think in not many years, Smith Rowe will definitely be a starter. Without
Yeah. Moving on to the next question then. So GH has asked us about Gerrard and what we think about him being appointed by Aston Villa. And he also asked us about who we think is going to be the next Rangers manager. But I think that is pretty much already been decided by looks of things. It's going to be Gio van Bronckhorst, who's going to be the next Rangers manager. So I don't think there's much point asking about the Rangers manager position, but we'll certainly discuss what we think about the Gerrard opportunity at Aston Villa. I'm just going to quickly start and say I just think this is a good opportunity for him to prove himself now as a Premier League manager, because I think the ideal situation is once Klopp leaves, I think a lot of Liverpool fans want him to be the next manager. So I think this gives him the proper stage now to prove his credentials for being that next Liverpool manager realistically.
Yeah, of course. No, honestly, I think. Well, look at the last time someone came from a successful team in Scotland, and they also got a lot of criticism, just like Gerrard has, for leaving that club, and that's Brendan Rodgers going to Leicester. Brendan Rodgers got a lot of criticism for turning down the treble. In essence, to go to Leicester at the time, who were going to get a sort of 5th, 6th place finish, which he was criticised a lot for, but you would take that job, and he's done well in said job.
Yeah,
he's brought in a lot of players, progressed a fair few of them, and I can see Gerrard doing something similar. It'll be a bit more bumpy. I think this first season is a free pass for him.
Can I ask? Is he having John Terry on his staff still, or I know there was talk about it. Like
I do not know. I haven't seen.
Because I feel like that would be a good move. Like the guy's been there now since. Probably 2 or 3 years now?
Days.
It's like pretty much ever since. So no one knows the back room, no one knows the players better than him. He's also a guy that will eventually take a first team manager's job, but I saw a podcast, or not a podcast, but a YouTube video where he was doing the golf thing with Chubbs. Is it? Yeah. Tubes, sorry. And he was talking about, that was at the time when Lampard had got appointed to Chelsea, and he basically said, I wouldn't touch that job right now. I want 10 years experience under my belt before I take anything of that caliber, which I think is very, very, very sensible. So in that sense, I would think it would pay Gerrard, and certainly probably knowing each other really well from playing in the same teams, England team, over years, to keep him on the staff and see what they can actually build at Aston Villa together. In the only bit I was sort of searing my teeth up a little bit at was about when you said about him taking over from Klopp. It's just, I have that, I think it's probably just because of what has happened with Ollie. I just kind of have that horrible, and with Lampard, I have that horrible thing in the back of my mind that like nostalgia doesn't outweigh managerial like qualifications or managerial experience, and I fear that would become a thing again. Obviously, he's got, it's not like he's going to take that job next year, or I would certainly hope not. but I would want to see what he would do at Aston Villa for 2 or 3 years before I would think that he'd consider a job like that, and see where he would get them. Whether Klopp leaves in that time, then that's up to him if he decided to take it earlier than that. But really, in the Premier League, with that type of calibre of club, 2 to 3 years just to see what you can do. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I don't watch much of the Scottish League at all, so it'd be nice to see what he does and how he sets that team, and basically how he overcomes the compensation of what they changed to after they essentially lost Grealish, because really they made a couple of what I thought was fairly good signings in the absence of Grealish with Bailey. Did they get Ings as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, like, I think they made some really good signings, and then suddenly it just seemed like the gel had gone or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe their previous tactics of get the ball to Grealish and then we'll see what comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now they've got to just try and find their ground again, find out where they're at. So that'll be interesting to see what effect he has in that sense for me.
So, I mean, in that sense, I believe Bailey has not been fit for a while. I think he's to come. Buendia has just not hit the ground running at all.
No,
he's
that
been a
doesn't surprise me. He's a
disappointment.
former Arsenal player.
And
Norwich player, sorry.
About to say, they were rumored to him. And then you got just Danny Ings up top as the new player in that team, so they'd lost the creativity, and nothing currently that was brought to replace it creativity wise. Danny Ings is in there for the goals, that's fair enough, but creativity out wide isn't there now.
No,
yeah.
That's why, that's part of what I think reason why they went so sharply downhill in these last sort of few
in
weeks.
that sense. Then do you think it's a little bit harsh to get rid of Dean Smith so early?
No, I mean also you've got the defensive issues with that team as well, like especially on that left hand side. I think because I think it's Target plays on the left, Cash plays on the right, and I think Target's being very defensively woeful, and then the backup to that is Ashley Young, who isn't realistically the best defensive option. When you think about it, I mean, yes, Ashley Young has played at left back now for a fair few years, but he's not someone that you think of as a proper defensive player at the end of the day. He's someone that you're trying to use more of it as an experienced player more than anything.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got Mings and I don't know who are the other
Konsa or Ezra.
Yeah, Konsa has
been
the Horser guy.
Well.
Yeah, they've not exactly been.
They weren't actually playing Mings because of a falling out between him and Smith, I believe.
Yeah, because I think that's the main reason why he got sacked was because of the note. Basically, I don't know if you know, Brad, reason behind why he got sacked, but basically he passed a note to his players, a handwritten note, basically telling them, like, I think it was something about Mings. So that's why he got sacked, basically, because he just basically did something very, very unprofessional during an actual game.
Okay,
so,
that's fair enough.
If it was the Southampton match.
Yeah.
That's not great, is it?
No, exactly. So
like,
that
that makes it seem like you that's sort of like the next step to losing the dressing room, isn't it?
Basically,
great news, Brad.
You need everybody on side, like. Yeah,
great news. That is now leading your dressing room over at Norwich.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I knew Lampard wasn't going to take it. I thought it would have been good for them because he's got experience of championship level. Because obviously that's obviously where we're going to. So it would have been nice, but yeah, unfortunately, Norwich probably went for the cheap option.
But to take this back to where the actual question was about Gerrard, as we've got a little bit sidetracked. Honestly, I think, as I was saying, it's a free hit for him this season. It's a bit earlier in the season when Rodgers joined. I think Rodgers joined from Celtic to Leicester in about March, April time. But I still think, obviously, manager adapting. He's got some name value. He's going to be given some time. It'll be interesting to see how they perform because they've had some injury troubles. Have Villa. Obviously, Mings has not played not because of injury, because of dressing room issues with the manager. I think Morgan Samson's been injured or ill or certain things have happened with him that's
Yeah.
led to him not being in the team. And then obviously Bailey as well, Leon Bailey.
Mhm.
So maybe if one or two of them are back fit, that could be a natural rise in form that they need.
And that would be nice, wouldn't it, to time that in with his appointment? Like, that would be a massive boost for the fans and everything. So
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what ideas he brings, because obviously it's a very different standard of football. No offence to our SPFL viewers. It is a different standard playing Motherwell and Hearts
yes,
to playing. I mean, you could compare it to Brentford.
basically,
if you want to try and
just
that down, but
you're not playing in a two-team league anymore.
yeah, it's a lot more
exactly.
varied. You're not the big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm.
You are barely a fish. At that point, you're trying to earn your stripes. So if he gets I mean, I know in my Premier League predictions, I predicted Villa 5th with all these exciting new standings, which was a terrible idea. Almost as bad as me predicting that Norwich would come 16th or 17th. So I've made some horrible decisions so far.
Yeah.
I've looked back at that and cringed a lot. But honestly, it'll be a good result for them if they even finish, say, after this, probably 13th would be a good finish for them, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere that's not too close to the relegation zone, maybe the upper half of the bottom half of the table. So anywhere from like 11th to 14th, I think is good for Villa now.
And
Just see it through and build.
Just to quickly touch on two things that you said, Brad. John Terry left Aston Villa in the summer, so he's not actually there at the club. And second of all, like with that whole situation that you're saying about 2 to 3 years to prove himself at Villa, I think that's realistically probably a time frame that you might see Klopp leave anyway. So I think that gives him the adequate time to prove himself to get that job. I don't think, like you're saying, you don't see Klopp leaving at the end of this season, probably not at the end of next season. So that does give Gerrard the precise time to actually prove his credentials for that Liverpool job. And then that way, if he's done a bad job at Villa, then you probably won't see him at Liverpool. But if he does a good job at Villa and shows that he maybe potentially do what Moyes is doing at West Ham, getting him into like those European slots and stuff like that, then obviously that's properly going to definitely stamp down his credentials down for the Liverpool job. Whereas if he's hovering near that bottom of the table over the next 2 years, then he's probably not going to get the job.
No. Yeah, I mean, the comparisons to Moyes, obviously. I mean, if he is similar to Moyes in that way, it could mean that he's not well suited to Liverpool. And what I mean by that is that certain clubs will look at Moyes at Man United. He was he could have tried to start a project on his own. Like, he's got a project with West Ham now, but Man United weren't going to give him that time to do that. Whilst at West Ham, he had a lot more leniency and a lot more time to build what he wants out of the club. I mean, it's an appointment no one wanted at the time when West Ham first had him come in, but they gave him time and he's progressed the team well.
And it's just going to be, though, it ends up with that the next scenario which he was at Everton for years, wasn't it? That he'll probably keep them in that kind of, like you say, Europa League or Europe thing, and they'll want them to just now push on to the next level, which then once again they need to go do what Everton did and look at that next level manager, and hopefully for West Ham's sake it goes better than it has for Everton. Yeah,
and the thing with it is my point being that it would be slightly different with Steven Gerrard going to Liverpool as such, because, well, firstly, they're not as cutthroat as Man United were. Man United aren't cutthroat at the moment. They're letting Ollie just walk around and do what they want. Yeah. But I feel even if it wasn't like a club legend status, Liverpool do give managers time. They do. When was the last time they did a very swift sacking? What, Hodgson? Is that it? Like, I can't think of like a.
Ooh.
No, I can't really remember of a.
Like Liverpool will give someone time. Rodgers had a good season, and then he had a little bit of time next season. Didn't. Well, I think he had even the start of the season after, and then got the sack.
How long did Dalglish have?
That's a good question. I feel I'll have to look that up. But Liverpool basically don't seem to be too hasty in sackings. So I think even if he is saying Ollie at the moment, I think Liverpool would. I think, if anything, I think he would resign before, because the passion that the man has for Liverpool, if he doesn't feel he's the right man, I think he would actually resign rather than be fired. I can. That sounds like a bit of a hot take, but I feel that would happen in Stevie's case. But also, I've looked up. I think Klopp's contract, from what I can see here, expires as of 2024. That summer. So he's got time to do well with Villa, and possibly even if he gets picked up somewhere else in the meantime.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me that he sees that out and then says he's not going to renew. That I think he will by 2024 certainly have achieved everything that he could with Liverpool. I think that he maybe just wants to see.
He's already achieved what he wants.
I think they just want to try and see.
Liverpool.
They just obviously want to try and maybe see how many they can do in one year. I think is probably their next thing to try and do, isn't it?
Yeah, treble or something like that, perhaps. Potentially.
The treble's the target, I would say.
Well, I think just getting another Premier League, less ridicule for 1 in 30 years. Stop that rot in the same way Spurs need to stop the rot of not winning anything since 2008. It'd be the target of getting something in there, and stop the ridicule so they can and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, they'd have more league titles than Man United, or as many. I don't specifically remember the stat. I should have looked it up beforehand, but it would put them, I think, probably level with United on league titles. So that'd be even more of a target generally. Champions League would be nice, but I think Liverpool just want another league title.
Yeah, I think they care more about the Prem than. I mean, they would probably easily do well in both anyway, but I think the focus is more Prem than maybe Champions League at the moment. Yeah. I think that pretty much will cover everything with the Q&A. So thank you guys for sending in your questions for the Q&A. We have going to be recording the budget bonus draft builder after this. I know. It begins with the B. It's the B that catches me off. It's that first syllable. It's catching me off guard.
Think of it like a bonus episode for the week.
Exactly.
So bonus draft builder rather than your own series.
Exactly.
Keep trying to promote yourself.
I'm trying. I've got to go up in the world.
I've got to go up in the world. Come on, make sure to watch that as much as you possibly can. And then after we've recorded that, me and Luke are going to be recording heated head-to-head. I think you've decided between one of two players at the moment, but we haven't confirmed which one we're going to. Do you want to confirm now?
I would say
that's putting him under.
That's a bit of a pressure on that one.
Putting him under the cosh. Make a decision, Luke.
I think we'll make the decision that we'll do it on a certain man who uses Adidas boots. Gets a special card for it. That narrows it down to 2 still. But he's got an SBC for it. There you go, Morata. We'll go Morata.
Morata, there we go.
For the X16, X17s.
Yeah.
Let's go for Alvaro
after talking about how truly deserving of a special card he was, I think you can't not do him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then next week we'll have the moments card for hitting the pen to paper for signing the Adidas contract. So keep your eyes peeled for that with FUT Eliminator next week. But obviously, but yeah, guys, listeners, thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. So obviously, make sure to check out Bonus Draft Builder. Heated head-to-head on Thursday. Don't forget to obviously check out all our individual content on our own channels. So we obviously had the level 15 player review for that man HEIL. Then Brad has got his solo FUT Eliminator episodes on his channel as well.
Today, in fact.
Yep, around Dembele. And I'm going to try and do a budget build challenge for my channel. I might be doing Declan Rice, not too sure. I'll have a look at some of these cards because, to be fair, it's not the best of promos, so it's
never.
What to really pick. I mean, we'll keep our eyes peeled if there's any SBCs that drop as well during the week. But yeah,
I'll
make
also
sure
be trying to get an episode separately as well for heated head-to-head on my channel as well.
Yep,
I've done
around
recording
a new
separate
guest.
one with a new
Yeah.
guest.
Exactly, so keep your eyes peeled for that. All links will be down in the description down below, whether you're watching it on YouTube or on the podcast. So just click down below and you'll be able to see all those links. Make sure to drop follows for ourselves as well, and on the FSB channels and on Twitter as well. I think that pretty much covers everything. So guys, thank you for being on today's podcast as always.
Thank you.
No problem.
And we'll catch you all in the next podcast. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.
Peace out, guys.